It's Mourinho versus Guardiola. Find out who will win.
And Man United are going to win their first home fixture of the year.
United!
Hello everybody and welcome back to Very Biased Opinions for another round of Premier League predictions. Finally we get some Premier League football back after the slog of international fixtures has finally come to an end. As always, there are timestamps down in the description. You can use the chapters feature on the YouTube video itself, but never ever use that. Just treat yourself and watch the whole video. Thomas, tell us about those links.
Yes, we're an Amazon affiliate. Please, if you're based in the UK, have a click below if you're going to buy something. It's just a click for you, but a couple pennies come to us. We've got some charities we support down below. And of course, our fantastic sponsor, GrandStand Bettors, is in the description. Have a look. Ian, how did we do last week?
Well, last week, wherever it was, 2 weeks ago, something like that. But it was week number 8 of the Premier League. And it was a victory for me by 8 points to 6. I got the Southampton versus bang on, and that was what did it for me. Means I've closed that gap, Tom, to 5-3, trying to get back on level pegging with you. But we will see. We will sum all that up. We don't want to waste any more time. All the hot dogging and grandstanding out of the way. Thomas, hit me with that first match.
It's Newcastle United versus red hot Chelsea FC.
Red hot indeed. Chelsea have been in fine form since signing their goalkeeper. They look brilliant at the back, and they're getting it right at the other end of the pitch as well. They look better every week, to be honest, don't they? They beat Sheffield United 4-1. It was really easy, I thought. And big question I would say about Chelsea, Tom, can they challenge for the title?
You know, you look at this team, and now that they've signed a goalkeeper and they've actually tried to shore up their defense, and Thiago Silva is settling in really well, which I'll put my hands up, I didn't think would happen, but he's been really good at the back. He is that kind of level head. They could be the dark horse for the Premier League title this year. They flow forward so quickly, they're so fluid attacking, and the goalkeeper seems to have really kind of shored up the defense and been able to kind of turn them into a more compact unit. We talked about Dean Henderson at Sheffield United last year and the impact he had on that back forward. It seems the same for Mendy at Chelsea. It seems like the entire defense are just more confident, more composed, and this Chelsea side are incredible. But Ian, what's going on at Newcastle?
Well, the only thing I heard there was get Henderson in goal for Man United. So anyway, yeah, Newcastle, they're up and down, aren't they? Like a horse draws, as we say. They literally win a game, lose a game. They were awful in this game against Southampton. We thought Southampton's intensity and their pressing game would be too much for the Geordies, and it was. The only bright spot was Darlow, who continues to be great. I know I put this down as a question, but I feel if I ask it, we're going to be 45 minutes on this subject. But why is he not in the England side or England squad?
I don't understand how Dean Henderson, who can't even get a match for Man United, essentially is in the England squad, but Darlow, who's been fantastic this year, isn't. So, you know, we won't go into it because you and I had an hour-long conversation during the England game about it, but
let us know your thoughts down below on that one, though. And are you throwing it over to me to predict first? Oh, I'm going Chelsea all the way. Chelsea to win 3-0.
Okay. I don't know why. I think there'll be an odd goal in this for Newcastle. I'm going Chelsea 3, Newcastle 1.
Aston Villa versus Brighton and Hove, and
all three of them versus Aston Villa, and yet I still get the distinct impression that Villa are going to come out of this with a win. They're averaging over 3 goals a game. They are fantastic going forward. This is like a totally different side. And I know we talk about like Jack Grealish and all these other players, but Ollie Watkins, man, he's like a lightning bolt every time the ball comes near him. He's so quick, and he's one of those players that we talk about, like sometimes people describe players as looking lazy or like they don't care. Ollie Watkins looks like he's giving everything every minute of the football match. Like, you can see it on his face. He misses a chance and he's so angry with himself. He scores a chance, he's so happy. And he's always sprinting into space. He never stops running for the ball. And he's not one of these strikers that always comes deep to get it. He loves to run into the channels and create that sort of space out wide, which allows players like Jack Grealish, etc., to go into the middle. And I don't know, this Villa side looked really good this year. And Brighton, not so much right now.
Tom, you glossed over it. Villa hammered Arsenal in the last game. They were fantastic. I agree with everything what you said. I just want to say what a great result and performance. It's just about Dean Smith getting the consistency. I just thought they toyed with Arsenal at times. They were so good, reminiscent of the game they had against Liverpool. But stop me if you've heard this before. Brighton and Hove Albion played well, but didn't win.
I'm sorry. It's like a broken record in my ear.
I thought that was hot off the press. 0-0 draw with Burnley. Just same old. They look easy on the eye, but they don't have any cutting edge. The only question I've got to ask you, Tom, is if Danny Welbeck is the answer, what is the question?
How to not win football matches.
He's got it. Anything else to dwell on this? The Seagulls?
No, I do think that their early form is almost blighted the second half of this. Their first 4 matches, they looked incredible. Were really hard done by games against like Chelsea and Man United, and now it's like they're receding into what they ended last season. They realize they don't have any points on the boards. They're really pressing, and by pressing, they're turning into their hard to beat self, not their flowing attacking self. And I think that's going to really come back to haunt them against this Villa side, who are just going to like mercilessly flow forward when they can. And I think it's going to be 3-1 to the Villains.
Yeah, it's hard not to see that, isn't it? I can see Villa's getting at least 3. I'm going to go 3-0.
Tottenham Hotspur versus Manchester City.
Well, this is one of the featured matches in the Premier League, isn't it? It's Jose Mourinho up against Guardiola, a bit of the old Barcelona, Real Madrid encounters that they used to have. Spurs have been great. I really think Spurs are just growing on me week on week, and they're growing on me more when they're winning these scrappy games than when they're playing great. They weren't good against Burnley and they got a 1-0 win. They weren't good against West Brom and they got a 1-0 win. Son and Kane continue to prove that they are match winners. And I think Jose probably enjoys those scrappy victories more than he enjoys the ones where they go out and hammer sides. I'll ask the question again, like I asked to Chelsea. Can they challenge, Tom?
I think Spurs can definitely challenge. I think the fact that they're only basically averaging 2 goals a game or something like that shows that this Spurs side have given a bit of their attacking prowess away in exchange for not conceding wide open goals and not just falling apart at the back. We have seen it a couple times already at the beginning of the season. At the back, a bit of miscommunication, an Eric Dyer mistake maybe, and they concede a stupid goal that they shouldn't have. But they look so good, and going forward, they've added Gareth Bale, who already looks like he can run at 1,000 miles an hour up the left wing. You've got Sane. You've got Kane and Son, who are literally unplayable. They should challenge. This is the sort of year that this Spurs team is built for. Liverpool are not as good as they were last year. City are falling apart. Man United and Arsenal are years behind. Teams like Leicester are flying up the table. Villa are flying up the table. Everton are having a good year. This is where Spurs need to win these games, give themselves a foothold and sit at the top of the table. Really quickly before score predictions, Man City.
Wow, that was a long old Spurs chat there, Thomas. Man City 1-1 draw with Liverpool. It was like a little handshake with all the players at half-time, just saying, thanks very much, we'll take a 1-1 draw. Thomas, I had a bet on Kevin De Bruyne. All he had to do was to hit the target once in the bloody game, and I would have won. Has a penalty. Screws the penalty. Unbelievable stuff. They continue to have no cutting edge, and I also think that they seem a little bit easier to play against. It seems like sides are just quite comfortable against this City side now, and just like, yeah, go and do your stuff. We'll get the ball back from you and we'll hit you on the break. And sides don't seem too bothered about them this year.
It's not like the City side that scored 5 goals a game that, you know, if you do just sit back and let them do their job, they're going to cut through you. Like, this team can't even cut through anybody, and they're really lucky in this Man City iteration that we're currently watching have players like Raheem Sterling, who have taken 4 steps back this season and seem incapable of putting the ball in the back of the net from 2 yards.
So it looks like we're both going to go for Spurs then, Thomas. I'll let you go first. Hit me with your rhythm stick.
1-1 draw.
No, I'm going all in on Tottenham on this one. I think they hammered Man United. I don't know if you know this, but they hammered Man United earlier on in the season. Hammered them. I think Man U even went a goal up in that game. They're going to do the same to City. Tottenham 3, Man City 0.
So they're not going to do the same. They're not going to go a goal down and then smash in 6 goals. They're just going to win 3.
Semantics. Wolverhampton Wanderers versus Southampton.
Ian, I know it's my turn to go first, but I just want to throw this over to you. Who are Wolves?
Yeah, I don't know. They.
I don't know what their identity is right now. It's like one match they're the old Wolves, and the next match they're this exhausted team that look incapable of running enough to win a football game. What happened to Adama Traore over the 6-week difference between the end of last season and this one? He's not even starting games, and when he comes on, it's like kind of like a horse without a rider. It just goes running down the right side of the pitch, but you're like, just it'll be fine over there. Don't worry about it. Jimenez is banging in the goals, but I can't see the identity they had last year and the year before last, and I'm just not as confident in them this year.
Yeah, well, they lost 1-0 to Leicester in the last game. Every game seems to be a low-scoring affair with Wolves. I thought they probably deserved a point in that game, though. They were a bit unlucky. Great save from Kasper Schmeichel in that game. Yeah. But yeah, they sit mid-table and they look not a bowing average side. They look a solid side, but nothing spectacular at the moment. But Saints, Tom, were top of the league for a couple of days at least.
This renaissance this season is just undeniable. The 2-0 win over Newcastle, you expect that. You expect them to win these games 2-0. But, they beat Villa in an absolute shootout 4-3 the match before that. They beat Everton 2-0 the game before that. I mean, they've been on a sensational run. And it's one of those times where it doesn't look lucky. Like, sometimes you watch these sides and it looks really lucky. They don't look lucky. They work so hard. They press so hard. They hunt in packs. 1 minute, there's one guy trying to cut off an angle. The defender will play the ball out. All of a sudden, 3 Saints players have rushed halfway up the pitch. And the other team's either booting the ball clear or losing it. And, let's
just say the big thing is, are they going to be able to maintain their form with Ings out injured?
Probably not, to be totally honest, because Ings has been a match winner. He's been one of those players that when you have him in the squad, you just win. And I actually, for how good Southampton are, I think this might be a bit of a chance for Wolves to get a win here, because with no Ings, they're a bit toothless up front. And yeah, Che Adams has had a couple goals, but we've all seen Nathan Redmond as a striker for the last 4 years, and for 4 years he's skewed every shot as wide as he could.
But Theo Walcott remains a good young player.
2-1 to Wolves.
I'm going for a draw in this one. I think it'll be a 1-1 draw.
Ooh, Ian, it's a cracker of a game here. It's Sheffield United versus West Ham United.
I think you've read the wrong 2 teams out there. I don't see a cracker of a game.
I actually think this is the second most boring game of the weekend.
Yeah, Sheffield United, everything's going wrong for them at the moment. They lost 4-1 to Chelsea. They're still winless. It's no shame losing to Chelsea, but they were well beaten.
Oh.
It's getting to... I mean, it sounds silly because I hate saying it. It's one of the things we try to avoid on this channel. But it's getting to the point where games feel must win for them now.
Yeah. Oh, without a shadow of doubt. We're in week 9 and they picked up, 2 points this season? 1 point. They're bottom of the table, aren't they? They are technically the worst team in the league. And you know what? I'm actually going to do this. I can't believe I'm going to do this, but it's not Ramsdale's fault. He's been pretty good at goal. He's not totally ruined the team. They cannot score goals for love nor money. Do you know that they average less than a goal every 2 games right now?
Yeah, well, that's it. They were good at scoring goals last season. They were just better at keeping the other team out. And that's gone away now. And they do... I mean, I'm going to just say it.
You literally can't win a game of football if you can't average a goal a game. You can't win.
Well, they look like a championship side.
They do. They look like exactly what we expected last year. But, Ian, this West Ham side are piss poor away from home.
Are they? Go on, tell me more.
Yeah.
Tell me more.
They basically average a point a game away from home. Their attacking, hard-working style just doesn't seem to come through as well away from home. I don't know what it is, because it's not like it's fans. There's nothing we can classically talk about. But they are not good away from home. And I think that might be Sheffield United's greatest chance here, because we know they're going to play a really tight back four. We know that Aaron Ramsdale... Is it Aaron? Yeah, let's go with Aaron. Aaron Ramsdale generally is a decent goalkeeper. If you hit the ball at him, he's going to save it. And is Antonio still out? Is the next question. Because Antonio is still out.
Yeah.
Then I worry for them. I worry for them in this fixture, because I don't know where all the goals are going to come from and what their focal point will be. I love Jared Bowen. You love Jared Bowen. But for a side that can't win away from home generally against a side that love to set up shop and just sit back and watch, I think this could be a really tough game for West Ham. I don't know what you think.
A tough game, but do you think it's a game they will win?
No, I think it's going to be a 1-1 draw.
Oh, Sheffield United get another point on the board. I'm going to back the Hammers in this one. I think they'll edge past United. I think it'll be a 2-1 win for the Hammers.
I'm going to be totally honest with you, Ian. I've done all this, like, looking into how many goals a game are averaged by these sides and how they kind of play and stuff. This is going to be the week I get every single result wrong, and this is what I get for putting extra work into this channel.
I hope so, Thomas. I do hope so. Because it's time now for our GrandStand Bettors game of the week. It is Liverpool versus Leicester City. So yes, our GrandStand Bettors play of the week. If you haven't gone over to GrandStand Bettors website yet, what the heck are you doing? The details are down below. We are going for goals. We're on a bit of, I must admit, we need to get back into winning ways with GrandStand Bettors, but we are going for goals in this game, Thomas. We are going for whatever the over goals are for this game. Probably going to be around 2.5 to 3. We are going for over goals for the Liverpool versus Leicester City. Go over to GrandStand Bettors, subscribe to their YouTube channel, and win yourself some money.
This is why I'm going for a 0-0 draw.
No, you're not.
No, I'm definitely not. This Liverpool team are really, I mean, they've been really fun to watch for a couple of years, but they're really fun to watch this year because you're just watching centre backs go down every single week, and you're just waiting. You're just waiting for the moment where they lose 7-2 again or something like that.
This is Manchester United fan Thomas Pickering saying why he enjoys Liverpool this season because they're getting injuries to their key players.
Yeah.
Not
I wish
at all. He's not bitter.
The funniest part is I wish no ill on any of the players. It's only the club I wish ill on. If maybe they could just get banned instead so the players didn't have to live through the injuries, I'd be a lot happier about it. But, Liverpool are definitely one of the favorites of the title. They've been really good this season. But they're coming up against a Leicester City side that seem to fancy themselves this year, Ian.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think Liverpool have been that fun to watch. I must admit, all I get is bloody Klopp moaning about fixture pile-ups every week. I get sick of him talking about it. But Leicester, yes, they have. I mean, it's like, what is it, 2015-16 season all over again.
Yeah.
They beat 1-0. Vardy scores again, absolute goal machine. But they were very resilient in that game. 19-year-old Wesley Fofana had a really good game at the back. He's sort of come out of nowhere for Leicester.
Yeah.
And Schmeichel, obviously good as always, fantastic save to get the 1-0 win. But they look so similar to that side that won the league under Ranieri, where they just doesn't matter who they're up against, they just go and win. Is Lightning going to strike twice?
Well, I mean, I don't think Lightning's going to strike twice. I could see this year Leicester actually finishing the top 4 as opposed to what happened last year where they just fell apart at the end of the season. But, I know I'm going back a little bit, but they beat Leeds 4-1, and we talked about that game. You can go back and check our video. It'll be in the top corner. That, goals ruled out for offside, etc. But they still scored 4 goals. The match before that, they kept Arsenal, who were on form at that point, scoreless 1-0. And this is how you end high in the Premier League. You keep winning these games.
Thomas, as well, fine form in the Europa League as well. So all the backup players are doing a great job too.
And they built a good team. They've got young players, old players, and Jamie Vardy still looks like a 20-year-old who's done 4 lines of cocaine before the game and cannot stop running around like a headless chicken. It's nuts how much he runs. I'm really excited for this game. But this Liverpool team still seem to be winning. Liverpool. No matter how poorly I think they're playing and how many injuries they have. I was out there being like, Atalanta are going to bang in goals, and they annihilated Atalanta. Diego Jota looks like a great signing. I don't know where he came from. I'm told he was played at Wolves last season, but I did not see that player at Wolves last year at all. And I have to go with the Liverpool win, and it's nothing to do with Leicester. It's just to do with this Liverpool juggernaut. It's going to be 3-1.
But I'm back in Liverpool as well. What was your score again, Tom? I wasn't listening to you as always.
3-1.
I'm going one more for Leicester. I'm going Liverpool 3, Leicester City 2. And Tom, do you know I've actually been struck by lightning twice?
Have you? Yeah. Fulham versus Everton.
It looks a little bit off after the Lord Mayor show after you talk about Liverpool versus Leicester to go into this one. So Fulham lost 1-0 to West Ham. It was back to losing ways after they did get their first win against West Brom. But the only real talking point has to be Lookman's penalty.
Oh, yeah, I mean, I was going to talk about Mitrovic, but yeah, let's talk about Lookman's penalty.
Well, you can talk about Mitrovic's penalty against Scotland, which sense. But let's, come on, I mean, that is a shocker.
I actually think that might be the worst penalty we've ever seen, truthfully, because the goalkeeper goes down and still manages to catch the ball, having gone the wrong way, essentially. I feel bad for Lookman, and I actually really like the way Fulham have reacted to this. They all put their arm around him, and the club have been very supportive of him, and Scott Parker's come out and basically berated him, but then said, we move on from here.
He does deserve a little bit of a kick-in for it, but not. Let's not destroy his career over it.
But like, he's a young player get literally raked into the ground for making something like that, and you hope he'll come better. But for me, it made my week better having watched Man United concede that absolutely ridiculous goal in the Champions League and think this is the worst defending I've ever seen, to this is the worst penalty in recorded history. Except, of course, my penalties in the shootout, which you guys can watch. It's in the top corner. It's terrible. Really quickly, I want to talk about Mitrovic. I know I've talked a lot already, and we're talking way too much about Fulham.
We are.
He's clearly a good player, but he has never been good in the Premier League.
Yeah.
And I'm starting to think he's out of his depth. And I know that Fulham fans have told us we're wrong about this for 2 straight years, but do you really think this player can do it in the Premier League? Because he's a black hole. And right now, Fulham have to put everything they have into this striker who's really good internationally and banged in the goals last year, but he looks lost. And
yeah, well, I mean, you forget Serbia are a very good technical side.
Yeah.
They've got really good technical players behind the likes of Mitrovic, and they can get the ball into him. And Fulham don't have that. They only really use him as like this battering ram up front.
Yeah.
Which he isn't that great at doing. Not in the Premier League.
Yeah, and I can't see this Fulham side doing that well. We know Everton. Sorry, just to quickly pivot now. Everton's form has tailed off immensely. They weren't great against Man United. Man United handily beat them 3-1. An interesting thing I found about Everton is that this is a first half side. If they don't take the lead in the first half and maintain the lead in the first half, they have a much harder go of it in the second half. They score less goals. They concede more goals. Ancelotti really has this team geared up to get into a match quickly. I think against a team like Fulham, they might riot at the beginning and look like the team they were at the beginning of this season. I'm worried for Fulham this game.
I think Everton will win. Yeah, I think it'll be. They've had a nice break now. They've had 3 defeats in a row. They got worse as the game went on against Man U. Really, I didn't think they were really good in that game, as you just pointed out. Richarlison's back, and I think he's going to make a big difference for them. And I think Everton will win. I think it'll be comfortable enough. I think it'll be a 2-0 win for Everton.
Fair. I've got 2-1. I just think Fulham will have a bit of confidence in scoring, but they're not going to.
Leeds United versus Arsenal.
Okay, so Leeds are coming off back-to-back 4-1 defeats, but both of them could have been better results, especially the one against Leicester, where they seemed to be in it until the very end. Obviously, there's the Patrick Bamford offside that came in a match or two ago that you're just like, what in God's name? Yeah. Patrick Bamford is my new spirit animal, if anyone didn't know that. He's fantastic, and I just think he's such a good English striker.
I'm saying it. Be careful, Patrick Bamford, because this man, Thomas Pickering, once had Jesse Lingard as a spirit animal, and look what's happened. Has anyone ever seen Lingard since?
Well, I mean, Eddie Howe as well. Eddie Howe's just gone as well, so this is the mark of death.
Cursed him.
But that goal that was marked offside might be one of the best finishes I've seen an English striker hit a ball with. Just such a composed, like, cultured clip finish. And Leeds are really good going forward and absolutely terrible at the back. Arsenal, though, are absolute garbage. They don't draw. They either win or lose. They are the definition of mid-table mediocrity and obscurity, and absolutely nobody in the entire of the country likes them, Ian.
Well, yes, that is true. Very true. And click on the down votes on this video after we've said it. I'm going to remind me to ask you a question about Bielsa after this. But Arsenal were terrible against Villa. They were so bad. I mean, what performance is that? After you do so well against Man United, to put in that shocking, tepid, like lazy performance. You should have been 1-0 down after a minute. You got lucky. It didn't spur them into life. Villa toyed with them at times. Easy win for Aston Villa. Oh, yeah. Why is Arteta playing Aubameyang on the bloody left wing? Why is he still playing Lacazette? I don't understand it. It just shows you that he's got a lot of work still to do as a manager. He gets pat whenever they win a game. They're so quick to pat him on the back and talk about how great he is. That they were poor in this game. They were crap against Leicester. There's so much still of that Wengerism still there of them. Like if they don't, they lose their sort of like direction very, very quickly. It all goes very slow and very tepid if they don't go a goal up quickly in a game. And I just, they haven't looked good as an attacking unit all season, I don't think. And I think this is a worry for them. I actually think Arsenal are going to win, because this is a sort of silly game where I think they'll want to put that performance behind them and they'll turn up for this one. I think Arsenal will win 2-1, but I wouldn't be shocked if Leeds went and ran riot.
I can't help it. I think Leeds are going to go absolutely nuts in this game. I put 2. I think they're actually going to win 2-1, but I think Leeds are just going to batter the door down. Really quickly, every time Arsenal win a football match, it cues every single football writer in the country to write a piece about how Arsenal have turned the corner. And then they lose a football match or play badly, and every football writer forgets they exist for a week. Just saying, this Arsenal team is no finished product. And if I have to read one more article about the insanely good work Arteta's done to make this club 11th in the league, I quit. You had a question for me about Marcelo.
Yeah, well, you know how Bielsa is always down on his haunches, during a game? He's always, squatting.
Yes.
How good of a lifter do you think he is?
I bet you he has got fine front squat form. He keeps that chin high, knees wide, presses out, glutes engaged. I mean, he's just a don.
Burnley versus Crystal Palace.
Well, Ian, that's it. This is the worst match of the weekend. This is the game no one's going to want to watch, which means I'm pretty sure it will be on BT Sport, which means I have to watch it. 2 draws, 5 losses, and about 3 professional players at the club. They can't score for love nor money, average less than a goal every 2 games, a bit like their counterparts Sheffield United. They have been awful this season.
Yeah, they have been. I do think there's some light at the end of the tunnel. Personally, I wish this game was on the box office, and I would pay up to £60 to watch it. They got me and Tarkowski are back, and Burnley do look stronger when they're back. And it is a little bit signs that the old Burnley are coming back. So I wouldn't be too disheartened, Burnley fans, because I'd still have faith in Dyche. He's going to pull you clear of the drop zone, but they haven't started well, and they come up against a Crystal Palace side, Tom, who I am convinced Roy Hodgson is trolling us. I am convinced Roy Hodgson watches very biased opinions. I am convinced that he sets his team out to do the exact opposite of what we ever predict against Crystal Palace. Because who saw them beating Leeds United 4-1? Dominating goals. Andros Townsend turned up to the first match of the year he's done. Ayew turned up to the first match of the year. The only player who did what we expected was Zaha. Well, to be fair on Ayew, I think that was actually the first time he's come back since an injury.
Okay.
And they did look a lot, but he did actually play well, and they looked a lot better with him in the side. Brilliant free kick by Eze. New signing for them, first goal for Palace. And just crazy. I mean, I just didn't expect it. Palace are just impossible to predict, Palace, aren't they?
Well, yeah, also, they're better at home this season than away, whereas I swear for the last 2 years, they were better away than at home, and I'm getting really confused.
It must be no fans.
It must finally make it a nice place to play. The ground is falling on top of itself, and, it has no foundations, but yeah.
Right, let's not waste any more time then.
No, way too much. Burnley 0, Palace 2.
I think Palace will edge it as well. I think it will be a 1-0 win for Palace. Nine games down, we roll into the final match with a side who blasted back into form in the last round of Premier League games. That's right, folks. It is time for the main event.
Manchester United versus WBA.
Ollie was on his knees, and he managed to pull a result against Everton out of the bag. They beat them 3-1, and to tell you all about it is our resident expert Manchester United fan, Thomas Pickford.
I've got a couple things to say about Ollie at the end of this, but first let's talk about the match. Cavani scored a good goal, good for him to be in it. Is Rashford injured? Isn't Rashford injured? This feels very much like right now on international duty, like Ferguson is pulling the strings. Oh, he's too injured to meet up with England. He's too injured to meet up with England. I feel like he's going to start for Man United. This United side are conceding more than they score, but they were quite good against Everton. They were equally as bad against Istanbul Başakşehir. They're significantly better away from home. They've won every game than at home, where they're yet to win this season. I just want to quickly talk about the fact that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer refuses to get out of his tree at any point in the last year and a half to talk about anything meaningful. And then in this match decides to, conveniently at the exact same time that Pep Guardiola and Jurgen Klopp are talking about it, and conveniently with the European Super League being talked about and muted, all of a sudden come out and talk about the Premier League being the problem. So apparently the Premier League's the problem. Apparently they've set him out to fail, and this is the only time he's become emotional or angry about something in literally 2.5 years of managing, and it literally just sounds like Ed Woodward coming out of him. It's shit. I don't give a shit, Ollie. You won the match 3-1. You were the better team. They haven't set you out to fail. You want to get angry about something? Get angry about the shit management above you. Get angry at your players refusing to turn up to a match. Don't get angry at the Premier League. It's fucking boring and it's weak and it just reeks of corporate stooge. And I'm out of it.
Okay, well, that just leaves me with a couple of things to say. Harry Maguire was majestic. You don't get to respond to that. West Brom, yeah, they've been garbage this season. They've been really poor. They looked all right against Spurs. Probably should have got a draw against them, but they were a bit unlucky. They've still not won this season. They have got Ivanovic and Pereira back for this game, so they should be at least than what they were in recent weeks. But Man United are going to win their first home game, Tom, aren't they?
Yeah, 2-1.
I think Man United will get 3 goals. I think it'll be 3-1 Man United.
Right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for tuning in to our first Premier League predictions in 2 weeks. I've really enjoyed it. Ian's hated every minute of it. It's unfortunate, but he's stuck with me. Thank you.
League One.
Thank you all for watching, following the channel. Thank you for all the thumbs up and all the comments. Really appreciate it. If you disagree, if you agree, please let us know in the comments. Additionally, have a look up in the top right, all our cards. They're pretty good. They're old videos and stuff where we talk about games. They're really fun to watch. Additionally, if you've watched to the end, which we really do appreciate, have a look at our end cards. It's got our season predictions and stuff on it. Have a look below at Amazon affiliate links. Have a look at GrandStand Bettors. Don't use the chat feature because whilst it looks cool, it means you're skipping out on fantastic content. We love you all dearly, and we're so excited because we're probably going to see you in like 4 days for the Champions League predictions.